Guys, welcome back to another episode of Pave the Way. This week we got a special guest on here to talk family, business, faith, life with us. Got Rob Johnson. He's the third part of our triangle. And Rob, actually, I wanted to read some scripture to start us off. I think this is why me, you, and Brent go so well together. This is Ecclesiastes 4:12. It says, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken. So, it's cool to have two, but two can disagree. And dude, when we have three business partners, and when we first started, I had no idea that it would work as smoothly as it does now, just because it's three different personalities and everything. But I would not trade either one or get rid of one to have less or more anything. Three is the way to go. It worked out.
Three is much better than two, because I don't care how good of guys you are, how good you get along, or how good of friends you are, you're going to have days where you disagree.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes having that third person to just kind of like calm things down and say, hey, this is where you're kind of wrong, this is where you're kind of wrong, this is where we're trying to get to, it just helps everybody.
Yeah, we've all had to mediate between one another, and it's been something that's been really, really good for each of us. It's lowered our ego and pride. It's made us have to open up and like get vulnerable and say like, here's the problems I have, and we hold each other accountable to what we want. And that kind of leads into what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about management, because there's a lot of things. Me and Rob manage a lot of things in our business that I have a role in where we're managing insurance companies and finances and insurance and all kinds of stuff over here. And Rob is like the number one project manager this side of the Mississippi. He's over here managing every single one of these flips and making sure they all go smoothly, making sure people are there on time, making sure money's getting hit at the certain time. Like, it's so much to keep up with. So we wanted to take today and just talk about management. And there's so many different areas of life to manage. But Rob, kind of talk first, like how do you balance all this stuff? And I know
First off,
we asked you before, but
I feel like we all manage a little different, which is still kind of a good thing. Like, you really do good with insurance and managing. That wasn't really my greatest management, but now that
we did trial and error.
Yeah. Not that I wasn't good in the office. It was just like, I'm more in my wheelhouse managing these houses and dealing with these contractors. They're more my style. That's where I succeed a little bit greater. But, for me, I just like to treat all of our guys going into management with love. Like, if I treat them with love, I feel like we're going to get a better product.
And so that's talking about the people.
Yeah,
that's how you manage the people.
That's how I manage everybody that I come in contact with, my partners, our employees, my spouse, my kid. I just treat them with love, and then most of the time that results in me getting love back and loyalty back with our guys. So that's kind of how I approach managing our guys.
I love that.
It's less about being their boss, more about just showing them love. But that don't mean I don't expect them to get jobs done and hold them to a standard. I still want to get the crap done.
Yeah.
But you can go about it different ways than just like, hey, get it done, get it done, get it done. I just like, hey, man, I love you. What you need. You're doing a good job. You're the best. How can we get this job done?
Absolutely.
That's how I approach it.
And emphasize even more on that, because a lot of people are afraid to like say, hey, I love you, but here's where I see the problem. Because a lot of times we get so worried about, what are they going to think versus like, hey, we're just trying to get a job done. Yeah. We're just trying to take this house from point A to point B to get another family in it. And so we don't have to there's emotions involved.
Well, I think it would get weird if I was like, I love you, but I didn't act like I love you. Like if I told our guys like, hey man, you're doing a good job, I love you, but then I was a jerk 90% of the time, So I try to get them drinks. I try to take care of them. Oh, you need a new tool. That one broke. I'm going to go buy you one. Don't worry about it. Oh, this is what we need to get done. I'll help you so we can get it done faster. So I show them less than I tell them. There's been a time where I'm like, dude, I love you, man. You're a great worker. But that ain't how I'm going about it every day. It's more showing them the love and less telling them the love, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. That makes total sense. And talk about too, so if you want to emphasize some of your job responsibilities and like what you're playing into right now, because everybody has a different role, and I think it's important that you understand each role as you try to build, like we're trying to build, I want to say an empire, man. We're trying to build something really big that can generationally change our families and,
Well, I felt like when I first started the whole house journey, my role was like, I'm going to get the guys what they need. Almost like a Home Depot run boy, I'm going to go get you what you need. Well, then it turned into like, hey, I need you to find more properties. Okay, hey, now that we've got this property, tell me what it will cost to fix the property. Well, now it's like, hey, lay out this bathroom, design it, and draw it so you can show the guys what we want this property to look like. So, it's kind of changed. Every house I've took on more and more of what I need to do.
And not
but
to mention,
each house is getting better.
And not to mention too, it goes from like, here's this house that you need to work on to like, oh wait, here now we have 3 of them at the same time. Try to work on all those.
Well, and that's where stuff starts to get strung out. But that's where again the partnership comes into such good, because I can count on somebody else to help me if I need it.
Absolutely.
But for me, it's really no different managing one, managing three in my eyes, because you've got the guys. The biggest problem is we don't have enough guys, but they're all doing the same thing. You know, this house has to have the same thing done as this house. So the management side of things, other than driving all around town and having to go to Home Depot more, that's a little more aggravating. But as far as managing it, it's really no different no matter how many houses you have, at least on the scale we're on, 3, 4. But if you go getting 20, 30, then it may be different. But for what we're doing, 2 or 3 is no different than 1.
Yeah, and you mentioned too the time like running in between the properties, and you said it's kind of all the same, and it's true. Like it's the same 8 hours in a day, it's the same people out there, but throw your family in there. How do you begin to manage like the time between having to drive on Saturdays and Sundays to get, they don't normally do Sundays, but Saturdays to get these people their stuff, or to lay out a bathroom, or to get a job ready? How do you throw in the family aspect as well? Because I think that's where a lot of people that are entrepreneurs may struggle, because up front I did. When our first kid was born, I was like, wow, what is it like to not work 60 hours a week?
Well, I just use my time wisely, meaning like, you know, yes, I'm at Home Depot at 7:30 in the morning getting it done. But at lunchtime, I'll swing by and pick my wife up and go eat lunch, or I'll go get my daughter, take her somewhere to eat for lunch, go home and eat with them, and then go back to work. And then I try my best. It's important to me to try to be home at a decent time every day. Like I try to get home 4:30, 5 o'clock, no matter what. That way you can still get home, still eat dinner, still cook, still hang out with your family, because it's so important. And then on the weekends, it's like, man, so many people are like, oh, I don't want to work a Saturday. Who wants to work a Saturday? But for me, it's like, you know, my role as a management and project manager, basically, I'm not there running a hammer all day long. I'm more or less checking in, making sure the job's getting done. So I can go spend 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday checking on our guys, going to grab some material, and get back to the house, and it's really not taken away from my family time. I can still have a Saturday full of family time and get a few things done too.
Yeah,
you know?
And you may agree with me, but it gets to a certain point where I'm like, don't they all start feeling the same? Like, I don't mind now, like working for yourself. I don't mind getting up on Saturday and going to do something from 7 to 10, and then come back home.
Saturday's no different than any other day for me now. Like I cannot stand to sleep in. I cannot stand to lay around. And my thing is I can get up and go get 3 hours worth of work done on a Saturday and come back home and have all day Saturday to do what I want to do, but I still got work done too. So
absolutely,
you know, Saturday's just a normal day for me. It's another work day.
I think that's a great mindset, because I can remember the time in my life where it was like Friday, man, and Saturday. Those are my days to like, oh, work was over. Now it's time to chill. Like, I don't even want to chill now. Now, if I need to chill, I just chill like Wednesday at like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And from there, that's how I manage my time now, is like rest periods are just necessary at some certain points. And you may not feel, I don't know how much I see you rest, but I know it's in there. And then another thing that comes up a lot, because we talk to a lot of people in a lot of different industries, but how do you handle all the frustrations that come up? Because in construction, man, you hear like, oh, the electrician was supposed to be there at this time and he didn't get there. And, I know we have a crew that kind of handles a lot of stuff that simplifies it for us, but how do you handle these daily frustrations and keep a clear mind? Because that's part of the management side that's really hard.
Yeah, I really just don't let it bother me like it used to. I just kind of take it as it comes, because sometimes there's legitimate reasons why those people aren't there. Sometimes there's not legitimate reasons. But if our goal is to honor God and put Him into our business and trust in that He's going to provide for us, the minute you're getting mad at something along the way, you're getting mad at the process, So who are we to get in the way of His plan and what His plan is for our business? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get in the way of that.
No.
If this guy doesn't show up, that was just the plan for the day, that guy's not going to show up. And the minute I get mad and frustrated, all I'm doing is hurt myself and my day. And then I'm not showing love to those employees. And then I'm not showing love to my family or my friends or my business partners. So for me, it's just like, I don't care.
Oh, man.
God's in control of what's going on our jobs. He's in control of our business. He's in control of my life. So all I got to do is just keep on keeping on and get it done.
Yeah, dude, that's so well said. And, the three of us, Rob, Brent, and I, have all gotten so much better from working together and just going through trials and tribulation and ups and downs and everything in between. We've gotten so much better at, thinking about these problems is like just last week we had, it was like a Tuesday morning or something. There was like a near crisis happen. That's what it feels like in our business. And, it hit. And then 3 hours later we had a solution. We were all communicating and we all had the plan moving forward. We were all talked out. It was all done. Mm-hmm. And dude, like 4 years ago, it wouldn't have went that smooth.
All we can control is our mindset, basically.
Dude, that is exactly
so it's truth. Like, what can I control? I can control my mindset, how I act to this situation. That's all I can control, because if you're mad at something, you can't go back in time and fix it. Mm-hmm. You can't change a lot of the outcomes. So you can just take it and deal with it and move on.
And not to mention, the reason normally that you're in a certain situation is because the actions that you've done up to that point. The reason that we get in certain situations is because the choices we made years, months, days ago. So I want to talk about too, you kind of hit the nail on the head, but talking about the mindset and talking about the only thing you control is your attitudes and your actions, going back to the Christian perspective, like, we're responsible in our businesses for like the quality of service, the quality of product, everyone improving in it, training, communicating, things like that. How you think about these things, how you think about, that job, like, oh man, it's so annoying today, I got to help this guy do this, or, how you're thinking about the problems you have, that's got a lot to do with how things are turning out for you. That's got a lot to do with the results you're receiving. So something that we've had to teach ourselves over the years is, to keep this attitude positive. There's probably 20 opportunities a day that we could end up getting mad or upset or disappointed, or it didn't go the way we thought, or that we couldn't control it. So we could get mad, but we have to choose to refrain from that. And the Bible really helps.
And again, it goes back to having good partners, because you can reach out to your business partners and vent to them and say, hey, so-and-so the job made me so aggravated. This is what they did. And it's like, you get it out of your system, then you can just move on. And again, it goes back to, we're trusting God's plan with our business. And the minute that we let somebody ruin our day, it's just ruining the time that we have, and it can ruin our testimony. If we're out telling people how we're different because we trust God in our plans and in our houses and in our businesses, but yet we're getting mad at every split second, going off on everybody, like, that's not what a Christian should do.
Yeah.
They should just take it and deal with it. So that's what we do. That don't mean we're going to let people push over on us and take a bunch of stuff off people, but at the same time, I'm going to treat them with love, because again, love to me is the most important thing. If you show somebody love, you can get mad at them and show them you love them. You can get frustrated and show them you love them. It's different.
Yeah. And I think what this really boils down to is, like, amongst all this time management and people management and skills management and all that, there's also managing your own emotions. There's also managing yourself, and how you manage yourself is going to put out to every other area of your life that you got going on. How you manage yourself at home is going to show to your spouse and kids. Once you have kids, you're trying to raise them up, and you don't want to set a bad example. Like, that's where I'm at in life. And so you got all these things to stick on the management. Another thing about what you do, man, that I see you really strive for and accomplish, like, extremely well, is you're really good at hitting our deadlines. Like, when we set out for a house, I mean, we'll be looking at taking apart an entire home, and we'll be like, yeah, we want to get that done in like 4 weeks. And Rob gets it done in 4 to 5. Like, Rob gets it done. Yeah. So how do you stay on track for a deadline like that? Like, what skills go into it, and how do you plan for that?
Well, see, a lot of people, they don't want to be aggravating when they're dealing with their employees or their people. Like, hey man, we got to get it done. We got to get it done. And that's not really the approach I go. I don't sit there and say, we got to get it done. Got to get it done. But I'll say, hey, remember, we're trying to get this done in 4 weeks. What can I do to speed it up? Can I help you do this? What do you need me to get for you? Because remember, I'm trying to get this done in 4 weeks, and I just keep bringing that number up. Like, hey, 4 weeks, we got 3 weeks, we got 2 weeks. So they know that I'm wanting them to hurry, but I'm not like, hurry, hurry, hurry. It's what can I do to speed it up? What can I do to make this job smoother? What can I do to help you? That's kind of how I go about it. And to hit on one thing you were talking about, and this is for the younger people who ain't necessarily married or don't have businesses yet, but we talked about how important it is to have a good business partner. Well, it's important to pick a good spouse, because you got to have somebody that you can go to. Same with business, your spouse, you can lean on them. You know that they're going to be okay with you working and providing. So many of my friends are not necessarily friends, but a lot of the guys that I grew up with, their spouses aren't as supportive. They may get more aggravated when their husband's out working, and that's okay. But, for me, it's like, I made sure when I found a spouse that I found a spouse I knew I could live with forever.
Yes.
Because that's what was important to me. So I encourage anybody watching, like, if you're getting ready to start a business, either do it by yourself, or you better do it with somebody that you can really trust and that you feel led by God to partner with. Same with your spouse, man. If you ain't, if you don't feel comfortable with your spouse, then good luck.
Absolutely, man. And to attest to that, man, because when you start a business, or when you get married, you don't tell your spouse, like, if I would have told my wife at the altar in 3 years we were going to start a business, I was going to drain our savings account and I was going to make $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
She would have been like, heck yeah, man, I'm pumped for that. So not only do you want her to be like, you know, a life partner, but also she's going to have to be someone who can ride with the punches, who can roll with it, because business is very hard, man. Like, business is up and down more than anything I've ever been a part of. And maybe you found a business that doesn't flow and the rules don't change as much as like the laws in insurance and real estate and codes and construction and things like that. But our business changes every month. Something in our business has changed every month. And we have learned lessons every week since we started 4.5 years ago. And so, but dude, you're so right about the spouse and everything that you had to say with that. Another thing I want to talk about is handling and managing stress. How often do you find yourself stressed out, or how do you manage stress when it comes to these jobs, or when it comes to your life in general?
Yeah. Well, I know it's, you know, people think it's corny or cheesy, but like I literally just fall back on my faith, and it's the same with how I handle frustration. Like, stress doesn't matter ultimately. Like, if this doesn't get done the way I want it done, there's no sense in stressing on it. Like, that was just how it was supposed to be. And that don't mean that I never get stressed. I mean, everybody on the earth gets stressed, but the minute I get stressed out, I literally just try to switch my mindset onto what I have and how blessed I am. Okay, I'm stressed today, but man, I got a great job. Man, you know, my wife's kind of aggravating me today, but I got a damn good wife, you know. And then you think about your kid, like, you know, their health, they stress you out, but it's like, man, she's not really sick, you know? You can look at any situation and realize how good you've really got it. There's really no reason to be stressed. Like, we have jobs, we woke up, we're healthy, we can go to work and we can make money. So that's how I look at it, and that's how I handle my stress.
Yeah, that's so good, man. And managing stress too, because like for me, you know, sometimes the stress is just a signal that I need to change. Like, sometimes the stress I have is just a signal like, hey man, you might want to start thinking about this problem a little differently, or hey, you're stressed because you haven't like worked out in this many days or whatever. And you mentioned our kids' health. Like, we always talk about without our health we're nothing, but that's another thing to manage is our health, man. Because if we can't get out of bed in the morning, it's like we can't go accomplish anything. So the last thing I got on here is you're not someone I've ever seen procrastinate. That's something that I find to be like real strong about you. Like, I've never seen you, back when we were only selling insurance, you didn't ever say like, oh, this guy has a problem, let me do it tomorrow. I never saw you procrastinate. What do you think is something that drives you, and give advice, I mean, on how to not procrastinate things? Because that's something we also have to manage, is like, when it comes to time management, like, there's times where we can scroll our phones for 30 minutes and not get something done, but how do you refrain from that procrastination? Well,
I think one thing about me, and this is kind of funny, everybody that knows me will relate to this, but I'm very impatient. And like, I cannot stand when people take a long time to do something for me. So I think that's one reason why I don't like to wait on nothing. If somebody asks me to do something, I'm gonna do it right then. If you ask me to go here, get this done, I'm gonna do it right then. If you tell me to be somewhere, I'm gonna be there right then, because I cannot stand that. And I'm so impatient with everything in my life that's just how I'm built, you know. And I try to give the same Rob to everybody every day. Like, I try to be the same personality at 7 a.m. that I am at 10 o'clock at night, all day long. You know, most people will tell you, again, everybody has a bad moment or bad day, but 99% of the time, I'm the same Rob. You know, you're going to get it at 7 a.m. to 10 o'clock. I'm going to be impatient throughout the whole day, but buddy, if you need something, you call Rob and it gets done. Like, I just don't like taking a long time to get anything done.
Yeah, and I can say that you've stuck to that reputation and you hold firm to it. So, man, I respect you for that. So, guys, if you're looking to get better at managing your life, if you're looking to get better at any area or any area of management, you know, comment below, hit us up. You know, Rob's out here doing project management. We're managing business. We're managing all sorts of things. Just let us know what you want to understand further, and maybe we'll talk about it. But guys, we appreciate you following along. We appreciate you subscribing to us, Rob. Thanks for coming in today. And hey, guys, we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.